Alright everyone, welcome back again to some more Umineko. I can finally say, guys, that the flashback scene of Andrews finally ends in this episode, and we finally return back to the meta world. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all comes about, and if anything else, I hope you all continue to enjoy. Thank you again for all the love and support, and let's keep it going. Alright everyone, welcome back. In the end, I was finally able to calm my breathing once 6 of them had erased themselves. With my magical power, forget the 7 sisters. Just one of them is my limit.
Ah, これじゃあ7姉妹じゃなくて、私一人じゃないですか。エンジェ様、ちょっと頼りないです。
Mamon, who had won her way through the rock, paper, scissors and received permission to remain until the end, complained.
ウリュウ、マモン、そんなこと言っちゃダメ。エンジェはまだまだ修行中。大丈夫、エンジェ。頭痛、大丈夫
Sakutaro stretched on his tiptoes and did little hops trying to pat Ange's head. Watching this, Maria scratched her head, acknowledging that this sudden training had been too difficult.
ちょっと荒行すぎたかな。マリア、これくらいなら全然平気だけど。友達いっぱいいればいるほど楽しいし。
お姉ちゃんの凄さを改めて思い知るわ。
According to Maria Onechan, when you reach her class, you can even summon enough people at once to make up an orchestra. And yet she calls herself a witch apprentice. That's awe-inspiring.
大丈夫ですか？エンジェ様。
ごめんなさいね。私には、あなた一人を呼び出すのがやっとみたい。
まあ、私はこれでもいいかな。だって、7姉妹で私だけが、エンジェ様の家具を独り占めだし。いかがですか？エンジェ様。私一人なら、不可にはなりませんか？
ええ、あなた一人なら、なんとかね。
よかったー！なら、いっぱい修行して、いっぱい魔力を養ってください。そして、いつかきっと7姉妹で、揃ってお仕えさせてください。約束ですよ。
After checking that there were at least nothing wrong with her own manifestation, Mamon immediately returned to a good mood and tried to make me promise to work even harder. Yes, I can see the greed in her. But maybe you could also call it positivity.
約束するわ。そのくらいはいつかできなくちゃね。
ありがとう、エンジェ様。この強欲のマモン。その日まで必ず、エンジェ様にお仕えします。
My headache finally abated and I relaxed both hands, which had been clutching at my head. Then Mamon stuck out her hand and helped me to stand back up.
ウリュウ。マリア、エンジェ、もうこんな時間だよ。もう部屋に戻らないと叱られる。
I hadn't expected Sakutaro to talk about the time. I was brought back into reality. As though the light had disappeared from it, the vast world sank into the darkness. And I was in a tiny, tiny bathroom stall sitting on a toilet. Onechan's grimoire was open in my lap. I looked at the clock. It was almost 8 p.m., time for lights out. If I show up late for the roll call before lights out, not only do they make an annoying fuss about it, but it causes trouble for my roommates and floor mates as well. I couldn't care less about causing them trouble, but I'd rather not have to deal with an annoying interference that would come as a result. That's the end of my me time for today. I'll go to bed, wake up, tomorrow will begin, and another long, long gray-colored day will repeat again. I closed the grimoire and rose from the toilet seat. Onechan appeared again and spoke.
ほら、エンジェ。修行を忘れてるよ。マモンを連れて行って。
I'd forgotten. The moment I returned to reality, I'd stopped manifesting Mamon. One more time, I created a strong image of the existence of Mamon in my mind.
もう、エンジェ様ったらひどいです。いきなり私を消すなんて。そんなんじゃ、 7姉妹を全員呼ぶなんて、なかなかできませんよ。
ごめんなさい。うっかりしてたわ。
人間界に権限するのはすごい久しぶりなので、何から何まで興味深いです。ちょっぴりワクワクしてます。ここはどこですか？
聖ルチーア学園の寮。ここはその共用トイレの個室。各部屋にトイレはあるから、ここには誰も来ない。静かで、本を読むにはちょうどいいの。
ここの寮は本を読むにも、トイレの個室に隠れなきゃならないの？文書でもやってるんですか？
I have a double room, so my roommate is always there. Our relationship is strained and it feels like I'm always being ignored. The atmosphere is bad, so it's really not a place I can relax. And it's good for her as well. As long as I'm not there, she can go all out, call her friends, and have a chatting party. It's more convenient for her too if I don't return until just before lights out. There's also the library, but the group that uses it as a meeting place is constantly whispering about me. So I don't like to go to the library either. During lunch, it's the bushes behind the school building. During the night, it's the stall in the communal bathroom in the dorms. Those are the only hideaways where I can be given peace. I opened the door to the stall and went out. I turned around, signaling with my eyes for Mamon to come with me.
よくわからないけれど、園児様にとって、とても快適とは言い難い場所だってことが分かったわ。
Yeah, I feel really bad for her because she's so, she's ostracized from everyone and she has no one to turn to for any type of, help or no friends, no nothing. Well, until now, she has Mamon here and Maria, kind of.
早く表に出ましょう。ここの空気、嫌い。
そう。ここの空気が一番まともなんだけどね。
When I left the bathroom and exited into the corridor, because it was near lights out, all the girls who had gone to play in other rooms were dashing back to their own. When it came time for lights out, we had to change into uniform pajamas that we hated and called prison clothes. Line up in the hallway and go through the dorm leader's roll call. If by some chance someone were to be late for this, we would be made to take collective responsibility and all of us floor mates would have to undergo a punishment that went by the name of volunteer work. As long as I took care to avoid this, the girls would disregard me coldly, but they wouldn't get in my way. That alone was enough for me. Mamon looked at the passing girls and the furnishings of the dorm with interest. Without paying her any particular attention, I hurried back to my room. In front of my room was my roommate, who had already changed into her prison clothes, chatting with some girls from the room next door. When they noticed me hurrying back, they blatantly changed the topic of their conversation. They lowered their voices, stealing glances at me. I acted like I didn't notice, went to my room, changed, and hurriedly went out into the corridor. Everyone was already lined up.
何これ、おかしい。ここって、お嬢様学校じゃないの？刑務所みたい。バカみたい。
やっぱりそうよね。私もそう思ってるわ。刑務所よりさらに厳しい点は、素行が良くても刑期が短くならない点かしら。
After bitching for a bit, I noticed. Excuse me. Having someone to listen to your complaints feels surprisingly good. Fortunately, Mamon's form can only be seen by a summoner, me. And of course, there's no need to speak out loud for this conversation. All I have to do is speak inside my mind so no one can listen in. I was just gonna ask that. Is she speaking to her through her mind only, or is she actually kind of whispering? Magic and the friends created by it might actually not be so bad.
こいつら、揃いも揃ってもやしみたい。生きてないって感じ。
やめなさいよ。毎日姿を見られたら大変よ。
夢も希望もかけらほどもない人間なんて、半魔法の塊だもの。私の姿なんて、絶対に見えるわけがない。見ることもできない、下等生物どもが。
あなたは、その半魔法の毒素を持つ人間たちが、これほどいる中でも平気なの？
園児様が、私を権限させてくださる限りは平気です。ただ、私を権限するために、常に集中しなければならないでしょうから、日常生活がおろそかになる可能性がありますよ。ほら、 同室の子に呼ばれてません？
あ、
後宮さん、聞こえてる？来週からの終盤なんだけどさ、ちょっと相談があって。
Probably about pushing a few more chores onto me. My roommate, who normally would never even look me in the eye, was smiling at me unpleasantly. But I'll have much easier time having the weekly duty pushed onto me and doing it alone rather than being forced to do it with her. That's a small price to pay to have her continue to ignore me. Yet after this shameless excuses, she transitioned into pushing a completely different point, insisting on flipping the issue on its head, as if I should have come forward and done it on my own initiative. One of the special traits of this academy is that it's full of girls who don't know how to ask a favor.
何この子、ムカつくー。眉間に思いっきり私の杭をねじ込んでやりたい。
そうね。ぜひ今度お願いするわ。
Yeah. Having a friend nearby all the time to complain to makes me happier than I thought it would. The Seven Sisters really were lively when they were all gathered together. I'm sure that just watching them mess around would be a lot of fun. I've decided. I'll do all I can to quickly gain the magical power to summon all of the Seven Sisters at once. And then, I'll keep training, more and more and more, and summon the thing that I really want to summon.
エンジ様が本当に召喚したいものって何ですか？
Momon noticed my conversation with myself inside my head and asked about it blankly. I hesitated over whether to talk about it, but then thought that it wasn't anything to hide and told her.
家族よ。お父さん、お母さん、お兄ちゃん。
それってつまり、死者の魂？異界の住人を呼び出すのは召喚だけど、死者の魂を呼び戻すのは反言で、それは全くの別物。反言は、かなりの大魔法のはずですよ。
I know. So much so that even Maria Onechan can't do it at all. But that's the thing I most want to call with magic. I've been warned that it's very difficult high-level magic. So great that in the worst case, I might not necessarily reach that point even after training for my whole life. Furthermore, I have no vessel. A vessel is something vital for making magic succeed, whether it be summoning or resurrection. Because I don't have one, what would already have been difficult magic instead become hopeless. That's right. I have nothing to remember Mom or Dad by. However, by an extraordinary coincidence, I do have something to help me remember Oni-chan. And that's this.
そのピンクの玉の頭飾り？何それ？言っちゃ悪いけど、エンジェ様にはちょっと安物っぽい。
昔、お父さんに内緒で、お母さんと一緒にお兄ちゃんに会って、遊園地に遊びに行ったことがあるの。そこのクレーンゲームの景品。
I know it's something cheap. I realize that it doesn't match my style, and I get that it's too childish. But this hair accessory is the only thing that makes me feel as though Battler Oni-chan is by my side. The inside of the glass case had been filled with plastic capsules packed with fun-looking things. It seemed that each of those capsules had some kind of cute little object inside. The game was to grab one of those with the crane, but I was young, and it was too hard for me. No matter how many times I tried, I didn't even get close. Mom told me that whatever was inside was probably cheap anyway, and we didn't even know what it was. So there was no point in getting all upset over it. But whether it was something cheap or not wasn't the issue. The process of grabbing happiness in my own hands felt very important and sacred to me. So I wanted that capsule with its unknown cheap little object more than anything. Then Battler Oni-chan came over after finishing with a game where you shoot soldiers with a gun, and had to go in my place. The happiness that was beyond my reach, Oni-chan stretched out with his longer arms and he grasped it for me. Oni-chan was really coordinated. Apparently he often played at the arcade with his friends. After one or two attempts with the crane, he grasped the thing on the other side of the glass that I hadn't even been able to touch, and dumped it into the exit chute. When Oni-chan tossed me that capsule, I remember feeling like I could count on him for anything. For the next several days, I felt like the capsule was too precious to open up. Then one day I finally opened it, and when I did, what revealed itself from inside was this pink bead hair accessory. Since that day, this has been a symbol of Oni-chan. My young mind thought that getting that four-person family together with Battler Onichan included was a precondition for a happy family. So I wanted Onichan and Dad to make up quickly. In my own way, I made this hair accessory a charm to bring my whole family together. That's why I always used to wear it. Because I wanted to feel my reliable, funny, and wonderful Onichan by my side all the time. And give him a place in our house.
でも、お兄ちゃんの記憶はあまりに遠い。マリアお姉ちゃんがライオンのぬいぐるみから作太郎を生み出したようには簡単にできない。私は死者の魂を蘇らせる大魔法をいつか必ず身につける。そして、それを成功させられる唯一の鍵が、よりしろが、これなの。
なるほど。その頭飾りに、ものすごい魔力を感じてたけど、そういうわけなのね。
魔力？お兄ちゃんのこれに魔力が宿ってるの？
エンジェ様が宿らせている、と言うべきかもね。エンジェ様の兄を呼び出したいという強い思いが魔力を与えている。確かに、反言は大魔法だけど、エンジェ様はその魔法のために、無意識のうちに着実に階段を登っているのは間違いない。
嬉しいわ。私以外の人にそれを認めてもらえるのは。
Your own effort isn't something that you can observe by yourself. In that sense, even though these words came from a dangerous demon girl who governs one of the 7 deadly sins, they made me very happy.
反言の魔法に至るのと、寿命を全うするのと、どっちが早いかだけは、私には保証できないけれども。でも、挑む山の高さが高ければ高いほど、魔女としての力も比例していく。エンジェ様はくじけることがなかったなら、きっといつか、私たちの元の主、ベアトリーチェ様に匹敵するほどの大魔女になれると思います。
なれるかしら。大魔女になって、お兄ちゃんを、家族を蘇らせることができるかしら。
反言の魔女、エンジェ教。素敵！反言の魔女は、かなりレアな魔女です。そんな魔女がご主人様なんて、ちょっと鼻が高いです。っていうか、むしろそうなってほしいものです。家具の価値も、主の格に比例しますので。もうベアトリーチェ様さえ抜いちゃって、天下無双の大魔女になってくださいね。煉獄の七姉妹を代表して、心より応援申し上げます。
I thought that if a magical friend were to appear for me too, I'd like a cute kid like Sakutaro. But even this 5th sister of the frightening 7 sisters who governed the 7 deadly sins was enough to calm my heart this much all by herself. Maria Onechan probably knew this long ago. That's why she recommended the world of witches to me over and over and over again. And I kept on stubbornly rejecting it. I should have given in and started my training as a witch sooner. A year as a child compares with 10 in old age, was it? At this point, I find my past self deplorable for wasting precious time doing nothing but complaining. Long after I turned off the lights and slipped into bed, Mamon continued to talk to me beside my pillow. I promise, one day for sure, I'll develop a magical power that can summon the 7 sisters, and I'll let them have a lively and fun time. The 7 of them make a single whole. None can be left out. Family must be together. I must bring them together. You know, I nearly forgot they were still in the middle of a quote-unquote game with Battler and Beatrice, just because this whole flashback scene was taking over. My awareness began to return slowly. I hadn't been able to stand watching Aunt Rosa and Maria Onechan's relationship, and had run away from Bieto and Onichan's game, hadn't I? I've got to go back. I've got to go back, support Onichan, and quickly bring him back from this world and its crazy witch games. Because as long as I'm here, I'm not permitted to call myself Ange. Suddenly, I felt someone's presence. When I turned around, there stood Mamon.
グレーテル様、そろそろお戻りになられないと、ゲームの進行に差し支えると、ベアトリーチェ様が仰せです。 速やかにお戻りになられますように、お願い申し上げます。
ありがとう。もう戻るわ。
よかったじゃないですか。
何が？
バトラお兄ちゃんに出会えて。
皮肉？
そう聞こえるなら、そういうことにしてもらってもいいですけど。
ごめんなさい。言葉通りに受け取るべきね。ええ、そうよ。こんなおかしな世界であっても、お兄ちゃんに出会えて、心底に嬉しいわ。
そして、お兄ちゃんのために、ベアトリーチ様に打ち勝つ？
ええ。いつまでもこんな世界で遊ばれてちゃ困るもの。そろそろお家へ帰る時間なのよ。だから私が呼びに来たわ。
せいぜい頑張ってください。私、今の主は、ベアトリーチ様ですので。
知ってるわ。1986年10月5日までは、あなたはベアトリーチェの家具よ。そしてやがては、私の友人になるわ。
そしてやがては、その友人を捨てるわけですが。何しろ。
Maman moaned as she had bit her tongue, staggering as she clutched her chest. Apparently the rule applies to people other than me as well.
大丈夫？それ、結構辛いわよ。
失礼しました。グレーテル様。
いいえ。ありがとう。嬉しいわ。お兄ちゃんに出会えて。あなたの最初の問いへの答えよ。じゃあ、戻りましょう。私があまりぐずると、あなたが今の主人に怒られるわ。
はい。ご理解いただけて助かります。それではこっち。
マモ？
I'm sure Maman had been about to say, well then, this way. But she stopped dead as though the film had been torn off. It looked like she had suddenly frozen. Then I noticed, she wasn't the only thing that had frozen. Even the air and floating bits of dust had frozen in place. A world where it seemed like even time itself had frozen. Yes, it resembled what would usually happen just before Burncastle appeared. But the atmosphere was different somehow. Then I understood. It wasn't Burncastle. It was the other witch.
調子はどうかしら、エンジェ。
Ah, I was waiting for her.
ラムダデルタ。あなたにはルールの適用はないのね。
当たり前でしょ。ルールは他人を縛るためにあるのよ。自分をそれで縛るバカはいないわ。
Burncastle is a witch who supports me, but this girl's different. This witch supports Beatrice. In other words, she's on the side of the enemy. But there's some kind of difference between her and Beatrice. There's something elusive about Lambda Delta's existence and Burncastle's as well. How should I put it? Maybe like they're beings from a higher dimension. In any event, I'm still unsure about how to deal with her. The only thing that I'm certain about is that she is my enemy. No, just knowing that might be enough.
それで、私に何かご用？
まあね。あなたたちの会話に耳を傾けてたら、ちょっと面白い話になったんでね。あなたにちょっと、いい話を聞かせてあげようと思って。
あなたは私の敵のはず。そのあなたが、私に得する話を聞かせる理由が思いつかないわ。つまり、耳を傾けた時点で負けということだわ。じゃあね、See you next time.
誤解しないで。私の相手はベルンであって、あなたじゃないわ。つまり、私とあなたが共に得をする話はあり得るということよ。
悪いけど、私には聞く気がないわ。
That said, I probably won't be released from this frozen time until Lambda Delta is happy. That itself might be proof that she's a higher dimensional being than me. I haven't given the option of not listening to her. But the only thing I can do is strengthen my mental guard and try not to be shaken by anything she says. She'll probably either try to make me believe something disadvantageous to me, or threaten me.
そんなに身構えなくてもいいってば。私はあなたの誤解を解きに来ただけよ。 いえ、ちょっと違う。ベルンカステルがあなたについた嘘を教えてあげようと思ってやってきたのよ。
ベルンカステルが、嘘？
あなたはベルンに、ベアトを倒せば兄が帰ってくるような、そんな言い方をされたんじゃないの？
さあ、あなたに話す気はないけど。
My brother coming home. I hadn't been promised anything that dreamlike. It was a promise with considerably low prospects where I could end up with maybe one person and only if I was lucky. But that's enough for me. Since I was promised an eternity of isolation, this faint but still non-zero chance was like a blindingly bright beacon to me.
ある意味ベルンのその約束は嘘ではないわ。ベルンがそう約束したのならきっと、あなたがベアトを倒せば、バトラも両親も解放されて、あなたのところへ帰ってくる。
何の問題もないじゃない。
本気で？あの子は案外残酷よね。わかってて騙すなんて。
私がどう騙されてるというの？
Shoot. I've let her take the initiative. But I won't be released until I lend an ear to her story. So it's something I'll have to hear anyway. Even though I realized that I could be on the verge of falling into a trap, I urged her onwards.
今は何年？
このゲーム版の世界のこと？ならば、1986年10月4日よ。
その通り。ならば、あなたがベアトに打ち勝ったなら、台風が去った10月6日に、島に囚われていた人々は帰還する。1986年の10月6日にね。
It's so funny how they're talking about October 5th and the 6th being the main days of when this whole story happens, because the 6th is my birthday. So I'll always remember my birthday as being the day of the Rokenjima incident.
だから何？
あなたの1986年の10月6日はどうだった？親戚の家にいたんじゃなかったかしら。
I had been at the house of the only Sumadera my mother trusted, Grandpa. We got a call. While I was playing with the building blocks in the tatami room, we got that call. After watching to see that I had remembered, Lambda Delta smiled unpleasantly and spoke.
ねえ、あなたの1986年10月6日に、バトラお兄ちゃん帰ってきた
Even though I didn't understand what I was being told, I noticed an unpleasant sweat seeping out all over my face. I don't understand. I don't understand. What is this witch saying?
いい？あなたがベアトを倒せば、バトラは確かに解放されるわ。そしてお家へ帰るでしょうね。1986年のお家に。だってそうでしょ？バトラは、1986年の10月4日から5日に閉じ込められてるんだもの。解放されたら、その翌日に帰るのは当然でしょ？そしてあなたは、1998年の人間。バトラが帰ってこなかった、1998年の後ろ宮エンジェ。意味わかる？
何言ってるのあんたは。10月6日に家族が家に帰ってくるなら素敵じゃない。私はすぐにおじいちゃんの家から帰るわ。そして私たちは出会う。めでたしめでたし。
ええ、後ろ宮エンジェは家族に再会できるでしょうね。1986年に6歳の後ろ宮エンジェがね。
私って誰？
後ろ宮エンジェよ。18歳の。違うわ。後ろ宮エンジェじゃない。そういう名前の魔女の駒なのよ。厳密には、エンジェ・ベアトリーチェという名の全くの別人。意味わかる？
Alright guys, I'm gonna end the video here for today. Thank you all for watching. When we come back, we're gonna continue on in the next one.